Hogwarts Legacy's trophy list has been revealed, and I hear you. A lot of you are asking the question, should you look or not? How spoilery is it? I put out a tweet over on Twitter basically saying I would not recommend looking. However, in this video, what I'm going to do is break it down in different levels. I'm going to start just giving you the news. There's going to be no spoilers whatsoever here. Just going to let you all know what has happened, how this leak came about. And then as we go through the video, I am going to be sharing the trophy list with you, but I will always be totally clear when a spoiler is coming up. So right now you're totally in the clear, no spoilers whatsoever. We're going to start with just the news here. So it all came about from the Epic Games PC store. So the achievement list for Hogwarts Legacy went live. So while we can't say this is 100% official, it did not come from WB, did not come from Avalanche, but it is from a highly credible source. I mean, the Epic Games Store, it is very likely that this is, in fact, the final list for the game. It has already been picked up by a number of websites, including the one where I read it is a site called PowerPYX.com. And to be fair, there are a number of trophies here that are very innocuous. I mean, it's just things that you would expect. It's no major spoilers. I do think there are a handful, I would say 2 to 3 that people really probably don't want to know. And then 10 to 15 or so that I don't think are major spoilers, but for someone who wants to go in just completely blind, they probably wouldn't want to see these. So just some of the basic details here. There are 46 trophies total. There are no difficulty trophies. I know that's usually a question for a lot of people. And then will it require multiple playthroughs? That's also a very common question. I think it probably will. I can't say for certain, and I can't give you more details without getting into the spoiler section here, but for those of you who are curious, I do think it will take multiple playthroughs to get. All right, so now we are going to shift into the level 1 spoilers. So I'm going to put a little bar here at the bottom. I don't consider these to be major at all. I think most of these are very obvious, but if you are someone who wants to go in completely blind, then now is the point you would want to turn off the video. All right, if you're still here, we're going to go through these now. So the first one is called the Spell Master, and you get this trophy for learning all the spells. Not a huge surprise. Then we have a Forte for achievement, reach level 40. The Good Samaritan, complete all side quests. Challenge accepted, complete all tiers of a challenge. Collector's Edition, complete all collections. A Keen Sense of Spell, invoke ancient magic for the first time, so sounds like that's going to be a story-related one. And then one called Loom for improvement. I'm not sure if that's actually supposed to be room for improvement, but you get that trophy for upgrading a piece of gear. Then we have the Root of the Problem, stun 10 different enemies using a mandrake. Next, Going Through the Potions, brew every type of potion. After that, Put Down Roots, grow every type of plant. Flew Around the World, and I love that they spelled flew, F-L-O-O. Unlock all Flew Flames. After that, Followed the Butterflies, and to get this one, you have to follow butterflies to a treasure. Then we have Rise to the Challenges, defeat enemies in all battle arenas. So multiple battle arenas, seemingly confirmed. Then Third Time's a Charm, upgrade a piece of gear 3 times. A Talent for Spending, spend 5 talent points. Savvy Spender, spend all talent points. The Ends, Petrify the Means, I love that title. Defeat a total of 50 enemies using Petrificus Totalis. Raising Expectations is the one after that, and to get this one, you have to reach a combo of 100. Then we have Finishing Touches, use ancient magic on every enemy in the game. And then last but not least, for the level 1 spoilers, is First Class Student, attend your first class. So a lot of obvious things there. There may be some things we can read into a little bit more in the future, but by and large, I don't think there's anything significant in those spoilers. I think it's interesting, but nothing significant in terms of, being some huge spoiler that you're going to hate that you read. Okay, after that, now we are going to shift into level 2 spoilers. And these, again, personally, I don't feel like they're a huge deal, but they do have some bits of information that Avalanche hasn't made official, things that we haven't known publicly so far. So there are some things in here that you may learn from either the title of a trophy or the description of the trophy that you may in fact did not want to know. So if you do not want to know the level 2 spoilers, now is your time to hop off this video. This video is going to be terrible for YouTube retention, by the way, but who cares? I want to make sure that you guys don't get spoiled if you don't want to. So for level 2 spoilers here, now is your last chance. And the first one we have here is called The Sort Who Makes an Entrance. Complete the introduction and finish the sorting ceremony. And I kind of debated with putting this one in level 1, but since we haven't had this kind of introduction segment officially confirmed, I thought I would just go ahead and put it in level 2. We pretty much kind of knew that there was going to be some sort of section before Hogwarts to kind of introduce us to the game, and that seems to indicate that's what's going on here. And then the sorting ceremony will be how that little introduction sequence ends. After that, we have the Seeker of Knowledge, and for this one, you have to win the House Cup. Now, I put this one in level 2 because during the gameplay showcase, they actually mentioned the House Cup and the House Point system, and they said that it's not a core gameplay mechanic, which I think it was good of them to kind of get out in front of that and explain, hey, this is not going to be some huge deal. However, because of this trophy achievement, it is clearly going to be a part of the story, and so I'm guessing that whichever house we choose is going to just kind of automatically win the House Cup. I don't know, maybe through the story, sort of like Harry Potter's story, how Dumbledore's always like, we have a few extra points to award. Maybe that's what's going on here, but I mean, I think this is a good one because it's clear that, hey, the House Cup is going to be at least somewhat part of the game. Maybe we don't have any control over the outcome of it. But then again, I'm kind of like, also, it's a trophy. So the way trophies and achievements work is they always have some that are just automatic you get along the story, and then they have others that are various challenges and things that you have to go out of your way to do. So it's kind of unclear to me on if this one is a story one that we're going to automatically get, or if there's a way to actually lose the House Cup. I think that's the big question that I keep coming back to is, can we lose the House Cup, or is this an automatic one? Next, we have the nature of the beast. Breed every type of beast. All right, after that, we have one called the Avenging Gazelle. Complete Natsai Onai's relationship line. So again, I debated with this one on going in level 1 spoiler or level 2. I ultimately decided with level 2 because of the fact that they called it a relationship line, which I don't think we have heard it referred to that before. Usually they've been calling these characters companions. And then there's also the name of the trophy, the Avenging Gazelle. I haven't been able to dig too deep into it yet to figure out how that would tie into the story or the gameplay, but it could be minor spoilery territory there as well. Then we have one called the Defender of Dragons. Save a dragon? My guess is that this one is story related or possibly tied to Poppy's side quest. You know, we see that shot in one of the trailers where Poppy is with us while we are just, staring right at the Hebridean Black Dragon. And then I'm super excited about the next one because it is called Demiguise Dread. Find all Demiguise statues. So we've been wondering about side quests. We've been wondering about this kind of extra stuff that we'll be able to do around Hogwarts, when we're not going to class and doing the main story. And so I'm so happy that they are going to have these little collectibles like this, little things that you have to go around and find. And the other cool thing about this is that we've already seen some of these. If you think back to all of the footage that we've seen, how many Demiguise statues do you remember that we've seen so far? That's going to be super fun. The next one is called Beast Friends. Complete Poppy Sweeting's relationship line. So again, using that word relationship rather than companion. The title Beast Friends, not a huge surprise. We knew Poppy was going to be very key to the Fantastic Beasts storyline of the game. After that, we have one called A Sallow Grave. Complete Sebastian Sallow's relationship line. Again, the word relationship, and this one I put into this category mainly because of the title. A Sallow Grave? That worries me that we have just been teased on how Sebastian's quest line is going to end. I hope it's not Sebastian's grave, but we know his sister has a debilitating curse, and we know that he is trying to find a cure for it in this game, and that we are a key part of that. After that, we have one called Flight the Good Flight. Beat Imelda's time in all broom races. So Imelda was a name that we heard mentioned in the gameplay showcase. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you guys, the other reason I put the relationship line ones here is because that's it. Those are the only 3 relationship lines mentioned, which if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I said I heard there would in fact be a Ravenclaw companion, and I gotta be honest, I apologize to you guys because it certainly seems like I may have gotten inaccurate information on that, or if there is a Ravenclaw companion, it is not going to be fully fleshed out enough to where they would warrant a trophy for relationship line. Now, we do know there are Ravenclaws in the game, and even Ravenclaws that give us quests. We saw that in the gameplay showcase with the young first-year Ravenclaw, so I just can't imagine that there is not some type of significant Ravenclaw character, a companion that we meet in this game that will fight alongside us. I don't know if it's something that was cut, or maybe Imelda is the Ravenclaw. I've seen some people mention that as a possibility as well. Imelda is mentioned, of course, in the trophies, that one that we just talked about with the broom races, but unless there's a hidden trophy, hidden achievement that we don't see, honestly, it's kind of disappointing if there's not going to be a Ravenclaw character that has their own relationship line. So of course, we'll have a lot of time to talk about that one later, but moving on through the list here, still in level 2, the Toast of the Town. Find the map chamber as a Slytherin. And then I'll just go ahead and tell you the others as well. There's also one called the Auror's Apprentice. Find the map chamber as a Hufflepuff. The Gryffindor in the Graveyard. Find the map chamber as a Gryffindor. And then the Wise Owl. Find the map chamber as a Ravenclaw. So again, some terms that we haven't heard before, which is why I put it into level 2. And it's those 4 trophies right there that make me uncertain if we'll be able to get this in a single playthrough. Now, the other possibility is that we could do it with Polyjuice Potion. They've already mentioned Polyjuice Potion as being part of the game, so we know that much. Part of me would be pretty shocked if we would have to play through 4 times as each house. I know a lot of people are going to do that anyway, but I would be shocked if we have to go through 4 complete playthroughs. Now, there's a couple possibilities here. Like I mentioned, Polyjuice being one way around it. Another possibility is that maybe this is something you can do very early in the game. So maybe we could do our initial playthrough as whichever house we want, get all of the other trophies, and then maybe we only have to play the game to a certain point as another house. So maybe you just have to make it through that initial sorting ceremony, and then you can explore as a Hufflepuff, as a Ravenclaw, Slytherin, Gryffindor, whichever, you know? And then you could just immediately go and find the map chamber. I don't know. That one's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. So after that, we have one called Room with a View. Reach the highest point in the castle, the headmaster's upper study. So I put this one here because it essentially confirms that we will be able to go to the headmaster's upper study. And I also think it's most likely that it is Professor Black. All right, the next one, we have one called Spilled Milk. This one might be my favorite in the whole entire list, and it is use Flipendo 10 times to tip 1 cow or Serval. So I know that was a lot there, right? First off, Flipendo confirmed. Let's go. So excited that they included this as, even if it's just an Easter egg, I think this is hilarious. And clearly with this trophy, with this achievement right here, it is being used in a humorous way. So tip 1 cow. I mean, is this going to be out in the field, kind of surrounding Hogwarts? Kind of be funny if there's just like some random room though, where you just cow tipping with Flipendo. This one just makes me smile more than any other. I think it's going to be something taking place outside of Hogwarts, giving us something else to do outside the castle. Love to have Flipendo confirmed, and love to hear that we're going to be able to do something so humorous as tipping cows with it. Kind of reminds me of the old school Chamber of Secrets, you know, tossing the gnomes. That's the first thing I thought of, is de-gnoming Mrs. Weasley's garden. All right, after Flipendo, we have one called Merlin's Beard. And then to get this one, you have to complete all the Merlin trials. Now, we knew Merlin puzzles were going to be part of the game. They talked about that in the State of Play trailer. Now the question just becomes how many, right? I mean, Merlin's Beard, complete all the trials. Definitely going to be a fun one, and I know my buddy Expecto Go is going to be pumped for that. After that, we have one called the Intrepid Explorer. Discover all Cairn dungeons. So this is going way back. That phrase, Cairn Dungeon, we actually reported on that a while back, that was the name they were using internally. I actually thought it was just for one of the dungeons, but now it seems they have more than one Cairn Dungeon. And so we're going to have to search for all of them to try and get this trophy. After that, we have one called Coasting Along. Visit Poidsir Coast. So I looked this up. I don't think it's a real place. However, the word Poidsir, guess what it means in Scottish Gaelic? It means poacher. Of course, we already know poachers are in this game, and it seems this Poidsir Coast here is probably going to be their main hub, their lair, if you will, of where they're hanging out. And then finally, our last one here in the level 2 category is Troll with the Punches. Survive the troll attack on Hogsmeade. Now, that one was also one very close to being put in level 1, since we see that happening in the trailer. But just to be safe, I decided to go ahead and include it here in level 2. All right, so finally we have reached level 3 spoilers, and I have included 6 here. Some are even more spoilery than others. I'm going to work our way up to what I think is the most spoilery one of all. And then to be honest with you guys, there's a lot that is borderline here too. I really want to be safe and protect the people who want absolutely no story spoilers at all. But I mean, hey, if you made it this far, you probably don't care. So we're going to jump into it right now. Last chance to turn back for level 3 spoilers. First up, we have the hero of Hogwarts. Defeat Ranrock. So the reason I put this one here at level 3, because hey, we already knew about Ranrock. We already knew that we would probably be saving Hogwarts, right? But I included it here in level 3 because so many of us had been actually thinking that Ranrock was not the main villain, and that there was going to be something else kind of behind this, so it wasn't just Ranrock, and it wasn't just this Goblin Rebellion as kind of the main antagonist of the game. This, to me, seemingly confirms that Ranrock is the main villain. I would be surprised now, very surprised, if he wasn't the main villain. I'm a little disappointed in that. I was hoping that there was going to be someone else, a dark wizard behind it. That could be Rookwood, but more on Rookwood here in a second. After that, we have one called Grappling with a Graphorn, and then to get this one, you have to subdue the Lord of the Shore. So Lord of the Shore, as far as I know, is not a term we have came across in the Harry Potter series, in the Wizarding World before. My personal guess, I think it's highly likely this is tied to the Poidsir Coast, which is most likely going to be the lair of the poachers in the game. Now, if you're someone who is hoping, hey, maybe there is someone else above Ranrock, perhaps that is the Lord of the Shore. Maybe this is even the masked villain that we saw in the very first reveal trailer. or one of the masked villains, you know, because we've seen several of those at this point wearing those skull masks. All right, next we have the one who mastered memories. View all pensive memories. Now, to be totally fair here, we all felt pretty strongly that we had already seen some pensives in the game, but this here 100% confirms it, and it also opens up so many other possibilities, especially when it comes to the story. I mean, that's the crazy thing about a pensive is, yeah, even though Hogwarts Legacy is taking place in 1890, with a pensive, that means we could essentially go back to any time period, right? And I don't know if we're going to be playing through these pensive sections or if it's just going to be more something you watch, like a cutscene, but that just opens up so many possibilities and honestly has me pretty excited to see. Then we have That's a Keeper. Meet Charles Rookwood in the map chamber. So I put this one in level 3 because Charles Rookwood is not a name we've heard before. We heard Victor Rookwood, and Victor is the one that we see in the trailer talking with Ranrock. So there are really two possibilities, I think, here. Charles Rookwood is a completely separate character, or they changed the name of Victor to Charles instead. So we just talked about map chambers with that trophy relating to the 4 houses and then finding the map chamber with each house. Now it also seems there's a point in the game when we need to meet up with this Charles Rookwood character. So are they possibly Victor Rookwood's son? Are they a student? Are they an older Rookwood? I mean, there's so many possibilities here. Are they a Ravenclaw companion, perhaps? All right, now we're ready for the final two. Rising from the Ashes. Rescue the Phoenix. So that one, I think it should be pretty obvious why I put it here in level 3. We did not have Phoenixes confirmed for being in the game. Now we do. And it also seems pretty clear there's going to be a mission and or side quest where we have to rescue a Phoenix. And the final one, guys, I think is going to have a lot of people excited. It is called the Hallowed Hero. And to obtain this trophy, you have to wield a Deathly Hallow. Now, we had seen Deathly Hallows appear in the Autodesk presentation, but in name only. We had no idea how that was going to impact the game. Now, seemingly here, we have confirmation that at some point in Hogwarts Legacy, we are going to be wielding one of the Deathly Hallows. The question is, which one? And also, do we have a choice? How insane would that be if you get to choose one of the 3 Hallows in this game? I don't know how that would work because I feel like it would just make it so game-breaking, right? If you choose the Elder Wand. Obviously, if you get the Invisibility Cloak, then that's going to make stealth a lot easier. The Resurrection Stone, that was a little more interesting. I can't really figure out how that would factor into gameplay. I can certainly see some ways they would use it in the story, but as far as gameplay, I'm not so sure. I don't know, maybe we're going to be summoning spirits to fight alongside us or something. That'd be crazy. But guys, if you watch this far, please be respectful of the others in the comments who do not want any spoilers at all. And if you haven't seen my full reaction to the Hogwarts Legacy gameplay showcase, check that video out next. It's on the right side of your screen now. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.